The fate of the galaxy pivoted on a single moment. Anakin Skywalker stood in the Jedi Council chambers on Coruscant, his mind a tempest of conflict and doubt. Mace Windu, accompanied by Kit Fisto, Saesee Tiin, and Agent Kohler, had marched off to confront Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, who had just been revealed as Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith. Anakin's vision swam with the implications of what was unfolding. Palpatine had been his mentor, a trusted guide through the maelstrom of war and the political quagmire of the Republic. Yet the Jedi were his family, the defenders of peace and justice. Torn between loyalty and duty, Anakin's decision to remain in the council chambers would be a defining one. In this alternate path, Anakin's choice is driven by his recognition of the stakes. The dark side's allure was strong, promising the power to save his wife, Padme, from the visions of her death that haunted his dreams. But the Jedi teachings also lingered in his heart, reminding him that attachment and fear could lead to ruin. By staying in the council chambers, Anakin avoided the fatal convergence that led to his fall. He did not witness the death of Mace Windu at Sidious's hands, nor did he pledge himself to the Sith in a desperate attempt to prevent his perceived destiny. Meanwhile, the confrontation between Mace Windu and Palpatine played out in its full intensity. Windu's skill with a lightsaber, honed through years of combat and mastery of Vapad, proved a formidable challenge even for Sidious. In their duel, the Dark Lord unleashed the ferocity of the dark side, seeking to overwhelm Windu and the other Jedi Masters. However, Mace's command of Vapad allowed him to channel Sidious's darkness back at him, turning the Sith's aggression into a weapon against him. One by one, the other Masters fell, victims of Sidious's lethal precision and power. But Mace endured, his resolve unshaken, and the battle reached its crescendo. The key difference in this timeline was the absence of Anakin's interference. In the original sequence of events, Anakin arrived at the crucial moment, driven by fear for Padme and his growing mistrust of the Jedi Council. His presence disrupted the balance, and his intervention allowed Sidious to strike down Mace. However, without Anakin there to intervene, Mace capitalized on his superior positioning and combat prowess. He managed to disarm Sidious, holding him at saber point, his blade poised to deliver the final blow. Sidious, desperate and cunning, employed his mastery of manipulation, attempting to sway Windu with his words. He painted a picture of a galaxy without the Jedi, a chaotic descent into war and suffering. He pleaded for his life, casting himself as a victim of Jedi aggression. But Mace, hardened by years of war and the dark truths he had uncovered, saw through the deception. The Sith were the architects of the galaxy's suffering, their manipulations extending across decades. There could be no compromise, no mercy. With a decisive stroke, Mace ended the reign of Darth Sidious. The dark side's grip on the galaxy was broken in an instant. The Sith Lord's death was not merely the elimination of a singular threat, but the unraveling of a grand scheme that had enslaved the Republic to war and fear. Palpatine's death sent shockwaves through the Force, a release of darkness that had been festering for years. On Coruscant, the Senate was left reeling. News of the Chancellor's true identity spread like wildfire, sparking outrage and confusion. The Jedi, though weakened by the loss of 3 Masters, emerged vindicated. Their actions, initially seen as treasonous by many, were soon recognized as the necessary purging of a hidden menace. The political fallout was immense, with the Senate scrambling to reorganize leadership and restore order. The Republic faced a challenging path forward, but it was a path free from the insidious machinations of the Sith. Anakin, upon hearing of Sidious's death, felt a wave of relief and sorrow. The Sith's influence over him, while powerful, had been severed before it could fully consume him. Though he still carried the burden of his visions, Anakin's decision to remain in the council chambers marked the first step toward embracing his Jedi teachings. The death of Palpatine meant that the Sith's promise of saving Padme was void, leaving Anakin to confront his fears without the crutch of forbidden power. He turned to the Jedi for guidance, finding solace in their wisdom and strength in their unity. The galaxy's recovery was not without its challenges. The remnants of the separatist forces continued to resist, their droid armies leaderless but dangerous. The Jedi, despite their victory over the Sith, faced internal trials as they sought to rebuild their order and redefine their role in a post-war republic. but the elimination of the Sith's influence created an opportunity for renewal. The Republic, guided by new leadership and the principles of democracy, began to heal from the scars of war. Anakin's journey was one of redemption. His brush with the dark side left him wiser, more attuned to the perils of fear and attachment. He emerged as a beacon of hope within the Jedi Order, a symbol of their resilience and capacity for growth. His relationship with Padme, though strained by the trials they had endured, found a new foundation built on trust and mutual support. Together, they navigated the uncertain future, their love a source of strength rather than a cause for fear. The galaxy stood at a crossroads, poised between the shadows of its past and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The death of Sidious was not just the end of an era, but the beginning of a new chapter. The Force, once clouded by the dark side, began to find balance, and in that balance the galaxy found hope. This was the path that could have been, a galaxy free from the tyranny of the Sith, shaped by the courage of those who chose to stand firm in the face of darkness. With the death of Darth Sidious, the dark energy that had shrouded the galaxy for decades began to dissipate. The Sith's grand design, carefully woven through political intrigue, war, and manipulation, had been undone in a single decisive moment. The power vacuum left by the fallen Chancellor sent ripples through the Senate and beyond. But perhaps the most profound impact was felt by Anakin Skywalker. His decision to stay behind in the Jedi Council chambers not only preserved his integrity, but also prevented the catastrophic downfall of the Jedi Order. In the hours following the confrontation, Mace Windu returned to the Jedi Temple, visibly wearied but victorious. The loss of 3 esteemed Jedi Masters was a heavy burden, but their sacrifice had ensured the survival of the Order. Windu gathered the remaining council members, recounting the battle and the final moments of Sidious. The Jedi understood the gravity of their position. Palpatine's death had likely saved the Republic from descending into a Sith-dominated tyranny, but their actions would face scrutiny. The Council unanimously agreed to approach the Senate, offering transparency to dispel any claims of a Jedi coup. Anakin was present at this meeting, his demeanor reflective but composed. His choice to remain in the chambers had not gone unnoticed. The Jedi Council acknowledged his restraint, a marked departure from his recent behavior, which had been increasingly influenced by fear and frustration. They recognized that Anakin's journey had reached a critical juncture. Yoda, in particular, saw an opportunity to guide the young knight back to the light fully. Anakin's potential, which once teetered on the edge of ruin, could now serve as a pillar for the Order's rejuvenation. Meanwhile, Padme Amidala, still serving as a senator, received the news of Palpatine's identity with shock and disbelief. The man she had trusted as a staunch defender of the Republic was revealed as the very enemy they had been fighting. Her love for Anakin, coupled with her dedication to peace and democracy, compelled her to take swift action. Alongside Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, Padme worked tirelessly to stabilize the Senate. Together, they spearheaded efforts to reform the government, ensuring that no single figure could ever consolidate such power again. In the days that followed, the truth about Palpatine's dual identity became public knowledge. The Senate convened emergency sessions to address the political and structural repercussions. The revelation that Palpatine had orchestrated the Clone Wars as both Chancellor and Sith Lord sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Trust in the government was at an all-time low, but the swift and honest actions of leaders like Padme, Bail, and Mon helped to restore a sense of order. The Jedi, too, faced their reckoning. They were no longer seen as distant enforcers of peace, but as critical protectors who had acted decisively to end a great evil. Anakin's role in this period was pivotal. With his intimate connection to both the Jedi and the Senate, he became a bridge between the two. His friendship with Palpatine had placed him at the center of the storm, and now, his first-hand account of the Chancellor's deceit provided crucial insight. More importantly, Anakin's personal growth became evident. The loss of the dark temptation offered by Sidious forced Anakin to confront his fears in earnest. His love for Padme, while still deep, was no longer marred by the same obsessive need to control the future. Anakin sought counsel from Obi-Wan and Yoda, working to strengthen his resolve and trust in the Force. As the Jedi Order began its process of renewal, they recognized the need for change. The events of the war, and the Sith's infiltration exposed flaws in their dogma and methods. Yoda, who had always been a wise and reflective leader, proposed a restructuring of the Order's approach to training and governance. The Jedi would embrace a more compassionate and understanding philosophy, one that valued individual growth and connection to the living force over rigid adherence to tradition. Anakin's experiences served as a catalyst for these reforms, highlighting the dangers of isolating Jedi from their emotions and personal attachments. The galaxy itself faced a period of reconstruction. The Separatist forces, now leaderless, were swiftly dismantled. The Republic, under the guidance of its reformed Senate, shifted focus from war to rebuilding. Clone troopers, whose loyalty had been to the Republic rather than the Sith, continued to serve as peacekeepers, though many began to ponder their role in a galaxy no longer defined by conflict. Conversations emerged about the ethical treatment of clones and their eventual integration into society as individuals with rights and freedoms. The Sith, though seemingly eradicated, left behind remnants of their influence. Dark side cults and loyalists who had benefited from Sidious's reign sought to capitalize on the chaos. The Jedi, though diminished in number, took on the challenge of rooting out these remaining threats. Anakin, now a full-fledged Jedi Master, led several missions to dismantle Sith artifacts and strongholds. His connection to the dark side, once a source of temptation, became a tool for understanding and combating its influence. Padme, too, played a crucial role in this new era. Her advocacy for the rights of war-torn planets and displaced populations earned her widespread admiration. Alongside Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, she laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the Galactic Alliance, a coalition dedicated to ensuring lasting peace and unity. Her partnership with Anakin, though tested by the trials they faced, emerged stronger. Their bond became a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to the power of love tempered by wisdom and understanding. As time passed, the galaxy began to heal. The scars of war, though deep, served as reminders of the perils of unchecked power and the importance of vigilance against the dark side. The Jedi Order, though forever changed, found new strength in its humility and adaptability. Anakin Skywalker, once the chosen one burdened by prophecy and expectation, found peace in his role as a guardian of the galaxy and a mentor to the next generation of Jedi. This was the galaxy that could have been a galaxy where the dark side's grip was broken not by the rise of a new empire, but through the collective efforts of those who chose hope over fear, unity over division. The Sith's downfall marked not just an end, but a beginning, a chance for the galaxy to chart a new course toward balance and harmony.